Good morning, dear children. Welcome to today's class. Let us start our day with a wonderful thought. To succeed in your mission, you must have single minded devotion to your goal. Children, today we are going to start with part 2, that is lesson number 9, direct proportion and inverse proportion. So, children, get ready with your textbook and notebook. Children, today we will start with direct proportion. It is given on page number 63. In the previous class, you have learnt how to compare two numbers and write them in the form of ratio. Now let us see some examples. Look at the picture below. We see divisions of a circle made by its diameters. Now here if you look at the first circle, here one diameter is drawn. And on drawing one diameter, how many parts are formed here? Two parts are formed. Now in this circle, two diameters have been drawn and four parts has been made. Here, if you draw three diameters, here six parts are made. Now, in this circle, here four diameters are drawn, 1, 2, 3 and 4. By drawing four diameters, you will get 8 parts of the circle. Now, what relation do you see between the number of diameters and number of parts formed in the circle? Now, do you see any relationship between the number of diameters and the number of divisions they give rise to? Yes, we see the relation between them. What do we see here? That one diameter make two parts, two diameters make four parts, and four diameter makes 8 parts. That is, we get double the number of parts as the number of diameters. That is, if there is one diameter, then double of it is 2 parts it makes. 2 diameter makes 4 parts, that is double of it, and 4 diameters make 8 parts, that is double of 4. Now if you take the ratio of number of diameters and number of divisions, you will get it as 1 upon 2. That is, one diameter, it make 2 divisions. 2 diameters make 4 divisions, so you will get the ratio 2 upon 4. 3 diameters make 6 divisions, so you will get the ratio 3 upon 6. 4 diameters make 8 divisions, hence you will get the ratio 4 upon 8. Here the ratio of number of diameters to the number of divisions remains constant. That is, if you reduce all the ratios to its lowest form, you will find the lowest form of each ratio is 1 upon 2. So here 2 upon 4, if you divide both by 2, you will get the lowest form as 1 upon 2. Similarly, the simplest form or lowest form of 3 upon 6 is also 1 upon 2. Also, the simplest form or the lowest form of 4 upon 8 is also 1 upon 2. In all these quantities, the ratio of the two quantities, it remains the same. That is, number of diameters and number of divisions. Here the ratio of number of diameters to the number of divisions remains constant. Now next example given below it, the number of notebooks that the students of a government school received is shown in the table below. Now in this table you will see these are the number of children and these are the number of notebooks received by them. That is, 15 children received 90 notebooks, 12 children received 72 notebooks, 10 children received 60 notebooks and 5 children received 30 notebooks. So if you take the ratio of these two quantities, that is number of children and number of notebooks, let us see what happens. In first example, 15 children got 90 notebooks. So we will take the ratio of 15 upon 90. 12 children got 72 notebooks. So we will get the ratio 12 upon 72. Here 10 children got 60 notebooks. So we will take the ratio 10 upon 60. 5 children got 30 notebooks. So you will get the ratio 5 upon 30. Now if you reduce all these ratios to its lowest form, you will get 1 upon 6. Or you will see that the denominator is 6 times the numerator. 15 6 are 90. So 15 divided by 15 is 1. 90 divided by 15 is 6. Again 12 6 are 72. So if you divide both numerator denominator by 12, you will get the lowest form as 1 upon 6. If you divide 10 and 60 by 10, you will get again 1 upon 6. Also 5 and 30 by 5, you will get 1 upon 6. So in all these cases, here the ratio 1 upon 6 remains the same. That is, the simplest form of each ratio is same in each case. Now in the examples above, we see that when the number of diameters increases, the number of divisions also increases. Just now we have seen that. Also, as the number of children decreases, the number of notebooks also falls. Here if you see, as the number of children are decreasing, the number of notebooks are also decreasing. Now, the number of diameters and the number of divisions are in direct proportion as the number of students and the number of notebooks. Now, from these two examples, we conclude that as one quantity increases, the other also increases. As we have seen in the first example, as number of diameters increases, the number of divisions also increases. Whereas in next example, as number of children decreases, number of notebooks also decreases. That is, if as the first quantity increases, the second also increases, and vice versa. That is, if one decreases, the other also decreases. In such case, we say that the two quantities are in direct proportion. That is, in first example, number of diameters is directly proportional to the number of divisions, and in second example, number of children is in direct proportion with the number of notebooks. Now let us see, in general, in direct proportion, as one quantity increases, the other quantity increases and vice versa. In direct proportion, the ratio of two quantities remains constant. Now these are the conclusions that we made from the above examples. Now let us see the examples. Some more examples I had written here. The amount of petrol filled in the motorcycle and the distance travelled by it is in direct proportion. That is, the quantity or the amount of petrol that you fill in the motorcycle, the more you petrol fill in the motorcycle, more distance you can travel. If you fill less petrol in your motorcycle, you can travel less distance. Hence, the amount of petrol filled in the motorcycle and the distance travelled by it is in direct proportion. One more example. More the number of students, collection from them is more. Hence, the number of students and money collected are in direct proportion. Here, if the number of children or number of students will increase, then the collection made from each of them will also increase. Hence, we say that number of students and the collection or the money collected from them are in direct proportion. Now, next example, it is given on page number 64. If 10 pens cost 60 rupees, what is the cost of 13 such pens? Now in this case, you will see that as number of pens will increase. Here the cost of 10 pens is given, you have to find the cost of 13 pens. That is, here the number of pens is increasing, hence the cost will also increase. Now we will solve this example using the method of direct proportion or ratio method. Now let us suppose the cost of 13 pens be X rupees. As this is an unknown quantity, we will consider it as a X rupees. We will write it using a variable. Now here the number of pens and their cost vary in direct proportion. Why we are writing it in direct proportion? Because as number of pens will increase, their cost will also increase. Hence they are in direct proportion. So we will express them using ratio and we will then obtain an equation. That is, here we are taking the ratio of number of pens to the cost of pens. If cost of 10 pens is 60 rupees, we will consider cost of 13 pens is X rupees. So we will get the ratio 10 upon 60 is equal to 13 upon X. Here, as these are in direct proportion, these two ratios are equal or same. Hence we can write both the ratios with equal to sign. Now cross multiply them. Here X from this denominator will come in the numerator of left hand side, and 60 from denominator of left hand side will come in the numerator of right hand side. Now 10 multiplied by x is equal to 13 multiplied by 60. 13 multiplied by 60 is 780. Now dividing both the sides by 10. On dividing, you will get 10x divided by 10 is x and 780 divided by 10 is 78. Hence, cost of 13 pence is rupees 78. Here we have completed with solved examples. Children, you have to complete your copies till here.